Hey guys, Diablo Killer 124 back, and in this part, we're gonna be starting or doing our close inventory function, and some more. I haven't really decided yet. Hold on. Okay, so for close inventory, it's pretty simple. We're just gonna have to, remove the children and stuff, which basically takes it off the stage. So we're going to remove child and menu 1 again. So we added child when we open the inventory, we're removing it when we close the inventory. So what we're going to want to do now is for each variable in slots. So basically what we did here, we're going to remove child inv. And we're going to set it to invisible again. So in.visible equals false. And now we're going to hide all of the objects that are actually in the inventory, which we have none right now, so it won't really matter. But let's do it now, anyways. So we're going to do for each variable item in objects. So each object, it'll take each object basically, and if the item is in the inventory, which we'll create this later, so item.in inventory equals true, then we're going to remove child item, and we're going to set that item visibility to false. So now also, since we have no items in the inventory, it won't matter really. So now if we test it, it should hide and show. Yep. So now you can see the inventory. You don't. You see, wait, you don't. You see it. You don't. Sorry, I totally messed up there. But now you still can't do anything when you hit the thing. So I think we need to fix that. I'm not sure entirely. So to fix that, we're going to need to create a listener and another event listener, which we did before, and yeah. So to create that listener, we're going to have to open up our key pressed event thing, which we collapsed or folded, and where we have our cases, we're going to want to add in left, right, up, and down. We're going to want to add check for hits. And now this is a new function we're going to be creating, and this, oops, didn't mean to test that. And this function will be, checking to see if the character is actually hitting So let's make this smaller again. Oops. I'm not going to make the comment we put because we want to be able to see the comment. And also we're going to make this other for, why does it not work sometimes? To make this for creating our objects, just to keep the code smaller again. But so I'm just going to create a new function, and it's going to be called check for hits. Oops, check for hits. And we're going to create a new variable called newest free, and it'll be a number. And for now, it'll be just set to 0. I'm forgetting to add my spaces today. So we're going to do for each variable object in, well, we'll do for each item in objects. So basically, we're counting all of the objects again. We're going to do if character.hit test object, and we're going to see if it hit the item. So if it did, what we're going to want to do is we're going to set while newest free dot is less than or equal to what is it, slots dot slots dot length -1. So now basically slots dot length, if we have 5 slots, the length will be 5, but even though the length's 5, there's really truly only, it only goes up to the number 4. Like, because it starts at 0, so it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be 5. But if you count all of those, it equals 5. So I know it's kind of confusing. So if newest free is 4, and slots.length is 5, and if we subtract 1, it's 4. It makes sense. It makes sense. It might not seem like it, but it does. Anyways, so we're gonna do if slots newest free. So basically slots 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. If that slot dot used is true, we can't move it to that slot. We can't move the object that it hit to that slot. So we're just going to type break. So we're not moving it to that slot. But yeah, and then we're going to do newest free plus plus. So it'll just end this while statement basically. And we're going to do else after this colon, so after the while. Actually, I messed up, I think. Yeah, I messed up. Okay, I'm sorry. So where I messed up was, we don't want to break it there yet, and we'll also remove that newest free so we don't get confused. We're going to do one more if statement. So we're going to do if newest free is equal to slots dot length minus 1 again. So actually we can erase the 2 parentheses we just made. So it looks like this, and so now we have this, and then we're going to break because it's at the end of the list, so it's going to end this while statement. So it's like, hey, they're all true, let's just end it, basically. So then we're going to do newest free plus plus. So basically, if it's true, it's going to do newest free plus plus. And then we're going to have an else. I think I added this else right here on accident. Great, now I messed up. Yeah, I'm going to delete this else. So now it should look like that. I think I just messed everything up. Hold on, I'll just test it. No, okay, so everything looks like this. So it should look like this. This function should look like this right now. We're going to change it, but it's kind of confusing a little, to me at least. So it should look like this. So we're going to do slots newest free dot item equals obj. So it's going to set the item to equal the object. Oh, item. Sorry, not obj. Item. Gosh, messing up. Okay, so we're going to set the item in inventory. Item dot in inventory to equal to true, because now we're putting the item in the inventory. And we're going to do this next part. So if the menu's open, it'll do it right, otherwise it won't. Like, never mind. So if menu opened, exclamation point menu open. So if the menu is not open, we're going to remove child item. So we're removing the item already on the screen. So right here, since this item is on the screen, we're going to want to, if the menu's not open, we don't want him appearing there, because then he won't appear. He'll appear there, but there will be no inventory slot. So now we should try it, and it should work. And you see all these errors, but we'll fix those. You see now they're all invisible, except for that one, and now he's gone. So now if we go to I, they're not there, of course, because we haven't done that part. But so now let's keep going. So else, we're going to set the child index for item, and we're going to do num children minus 1. So we're going to set this to the front. So this is going to be the topmost viewed item. This is going to be what you're going to always see on top of everything else. And then we're going to set the item.x to the slots of newest free, so basically slot 1, slot 2, etc., whichever one's the newest free, of course, to x, just like that, .x, just like that. So sorry, we're going to copy and paste that, and we're also going to do the same for Y and Y, and then we're going to do slots, newest free, and we are going to set dot used to true, so it's being used, and then the list, slots newest free dot holding is going to be equal to object dot type. Remember, we created the dot type earlier where we created this for. So the type is either going to be mana or health for now. I mean, you could always make your own if you wanted, but for us it's mana or health. So holding would equal either mana or health. So now that we're done with this, we're going to want to do we're going to bind the item, which we haven't created this function yet, so don't worry. And we're going to bind the item, and we're going to have to give some parameters for binding item. We're going to do newest free, and then item.id. And newest free, just so you know, is going to be the slot's ID, because that's what we're using it as, basically. So newest free is the slot's ID, and then the item ID, which was created when we made the loop earlier for the for. And then we're just gonna add an event listener. So we're gonna do objects. Which object? Item.id. So we're gonna get the item ID, and then we're gonna add event. Add event listener. Mouse event dot click inv click object, just like that. We haven't created the click object function yet, but we will, and we also do need to create the bind item object or function also. But basically what this is doing, we're adding event listener, so when you click the object that we just moved, so when you click it and it's in the inventory, it will execute the function click object, which we will be creating shortly here. So I guess first what we're going to want to do is create that click object. And so I'm just going to make all of this smaller again, and it's going to be for a character hitting an object. Okay. So we're going to create our click object. So we're going to do function click object event, and we're going to set it to void, just like that. Also, I don't know if I told you guys this, but I'm just going to let you know, on line 43 for our function keypressed, if you have event, change it to event, keyboard event. I don't remember if I changed this with you guys or not, but I did change it. Just thought I'd let you guys know that, just in case. I'm not sure if it'll work with or without it, but I found it works better with it. Anyways, click object, we're going to set some more variables here. So we're going to set variable OID, which will stand for object ID, is going to equal event.target.id. And now event, we got event from right here. So if you name this EVT or something, you'll have to change this to EVT. But I'm just going to leave it event, because it's easy for me to remember. And then we're going to set variable ID is going to be slots, and then we're going to get objects, OID, which we just made, and then .inv ID, and then, oh, hold on. Yeah, okay, this might not make sense now, but it will later. We're going to want to do .inv ID, and then close the parenthesis, and then we're going to do .id. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting the object OID, and then the the variable for that's stored in OID, which will be like 0, 1, 2, whatever the item ID is. It'll get what inventory ID it's in, which will set that when we create the bind item function, or the bind item function. That'll But yeah, so it might not make sense now, but it will after a while. So next we're going to do variable item equals and then just simply objects OID. And we're just going to do ID. Actually, we're going to be creating a new function called useObject. And this is the parameters for this is going to be ID item slots dot ID dot holding. So it's going to use the item it's holding, which remember holding is set mana or health, etc. And then we're going to do slots ID dot remove event listener mouse event dot click and then click objects. So basically now we're removing an event listener, so after it uses this object it won't be listening for this being used again. And I do think we're going to change that, so it's objects. Okay, so we're actually going to remove the listener for the objects instead of a slot. So we're just going to do item dot remove event listener, just like that. So it should look like that. It's a pretty simple function, it's pretty self-explanatory in a way, I mean. But so now let's create another function, and this one's going to be called useObject. And this for parameters we're going to get INV ID, item, and object type. And you can see we defined all of these ID, so the inventory ID, and then item, the item, and then what it's holding, which for here we called object type. So now we're going to do switch object type, and then we're going to do case mana, and then for this we're going to remove child, the item of course, and then we're going to set the mana level, so mLevel.text, which we created a long time ago, is going to be equal to string, I know seems kind of pointless for doing this, but integer mLevel.text plus 5. Basically what we just did here is we mLevel.text right now it's a string, and we need to make it an integer to add 5 to it. So we made it an integer, and we added 5, and we converted it back to a string. So it's kind of pointless. I wish I could just do add 5, make it simple on me, but we can't. So we're gonna come back, and we're gonna break. Well, we're not done yet, I guess. So we're gonna do slots INV ID, so the inventory ID we're at, and then we're going to set used to false. I need water. And then we're going to do item dot used equals true. So basically we've used this item, so we can't use it again, And then we're going to set item dot in inventory to false. And then we're going to unbind item, and then INV ID, and then item ID. So we're gonna unbind We're gonna unbind with the inventory ID and the object ID, basically, or the item ID. That'll be the next tutorial. We're gonna hit 20 minutes in about a minute. So, oh wait, actually, let's finish this. I just added a break to the case mana. So now I'm gonna copy all of this and I'm gonna paste it. So we have two cases, and change the second case to case health. And now and change M level to H level on the health one, and that's all you have to do, really. Now we have case health and case mana. But that's what I'm going to do for this tutorial. If we test it, it won't work because we're missing some functions and stuff. And there might be other errors, of course, because I like to make errors. But, yeah. So, guys, in the next tutorial, we'll create our binding functions and we'll do some more. Maybe we'll even finish up. I doubt it, but Guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to let me know how I did. Comment, give me some more suggestions for tutorials, and I'll talk to you guys later.